Hello, everybody. This is Kane, and so this is my first video on the channel. Haven't decided a name for it yet, but I just kind of wanted to go over some things on, personal experiences that I've had in my life, and kind of help out other men that go through the same thing as I do. Um, it's going to go over a variety of different topics, but this is going to be kind of my podcasting that I'll be doing. Going to try and be doing it at least once a week. Um, but yeah, so a little bit about me is, I do powerlifting professionally. Um, I enjoy journaling, reading books, and meditating too as well, just to kind of find myself and who I am in this mysterious universe. Um, I guess the first topic I wanted to talk about and discuss, I don't know where to start. I guess maybe past traumas and just life experiences going through high school. I've dated several women in high school, and um, with those experiences, I did feel like I had been used several times for their personal gains. Um, it was never about me, it was always about the other woman that I've dated. Um, I take initiative to love her and care for her and always be there for her, and it just seems like she's always has something to pick a fight on or have a double standard with things. Um, I'd go more into details, but this is just a starting video. But I guess just my experiences with dating, it only lasted for maybe 3 or 4 months. And usually, how it ends up is the woman decides to break up with me because she's too busy with school. Okay, that's fair enough, right? So, with that first relationship, I'd been told that absolutely devastated me because of the fact she told me that, and then the next day she's with a new guy and is posting about it on social media. Um, this happened in the state of Washington State, um, who I dearly loved. I thought she was beautiful and had a good personality, but turns out she doesn't have a good personality because of the fact that she had to lie to me in regards to why she was busy with school. And you would think, okay, she's busy with school, so she wouldn't be dating another guy, right? Well, turns out she's dating a new guy after she told me she was busy with school. So that's where, like, my mind is still trying to figure out the reason these women break up with me because, I'm a genuine, nice man who is respectable and has a lot going for himself. He has goals and um, standards, I guess you should say. And the thing about women is they tend to not set their standards in terms of relationships or finding a partner. I've realized a lot that it doesn't matter if you're a good person or not. They tend to backstab you if you do turn out to be nice because with their past experiences with relationships, they've always dated men who are manipulative, um, very stubborn, as well as narcissistic, sociopaths, to say the least. It's kind of very, what's the word? disturbing, I guess, to put it that way. Um, I see all these people in relationships now, and they look all happy, but it's like, are they though? Is like, I don't know. It's hard to grasp my mind around on things like that. Um, and in terms of finding a partner, I've struggled for 8 years since high school. Um, I've tried the dating apps. I've tried going to a coffee shop or going to a social event of some sort, whether that be going to the gym or going to a pool hall or a bar. Um, and it tends to lead to the same root cause that all these women that I've tried attempting to get into a relationship with tend to tend to play games, if that makes sense. Like, you know what you want. They don't know what they want. Therefore they're playing games. Um I guess, to put it that way, what I mean is, you know what you want, you're texting them every day, and then you talk for a couple weeks, and then it just goes into a dry spell. After you've been attempting to meet up and grab coffee or go to a five-star restaurant of some sort, and it almost seems as though if the more you try in life with finding a partner, it makes it so much more difficult. Um, Now I've been told that you should just focus on yourself and not look for a significant other, but that contradicts everything. Like, why would I want a partner when I don't want her, and then they come to me, but then when I do want a partner, they know there's no option for me. That contradicts itself. Like the reverse psychology of that just frustrates me. And the reason why I'm making this video is to express my feelings and my thoughts to other men who go through the same issues as me. Because I feel like I'm not the only one. Even though I do feel like I'm the only one, I'm not. I've had acquaintances or friends that go through the same struggles as I do. Um, but I don't know, it's just a hard thing to talk about. The more I do these videos, the more comfortable I'll be doing these videos. Um, you know, I'm an attractive male who's got a lot going for himself. Um, did well in high school. Um, tried college out, but just didn't align with my values, and conformity is not one of my main things I like. I like being free and doing my own thing, with my own intelligence. Um, and that's where I've gotten a lot of journaling and reading books, trying to work on writing a book, um, the processes of manifestation, and um, still a work in progress, but you know, listening to other people on advice for relationship wise advice. Um, it's been a real struggle. I talked to several people, from single people to married couples to engaged to dating. And some say, oh, you got to lower your standards, or I hear, don't ever lower your standards. But, like, why? My question is, why would I lower my standards if I'm a high valued male who's intelligent, attractive, has a lot going for himself, knows what he wants? Like, why would I settle for less? Is my question, if that makes sense. Um, that's like that's like you have a Harvard degree and a Harvard degree in computer science, and you go and do car sales. You're not. I, I don't know how to. Maybe that's not a good analogy. Eh, we'll go with it. But I guess if you understand, you'll understand. If you understand, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I've went to college to study psychology, um, psychological sciences, and I'm still trying to figure out how the mind of a woman works. Um, and it's almost damn near impossible. They're very unpredictable. Um, one day she could be really nice and into you, and um, then the next day she's like completely ghosting you and thinks you're like the worst person ever to talk to be the last man to ever date, or not even be the last man to ever date at that point. I've been told that. Um, some woman in high school actually told me that I should do myself a favor, and um, this is gonna sound disturbing, and she's very pretty, but I just don't understand why someone would say this. That I should commit suicide with a gun and do herself a favor because I wouldn't even be the last man to date on Earth. Can you imagine that? As a man who's nice, respectable, and open-minded gets told that by a woman he knew in high school that I went to class with. Wow, I could name her name right now, but yeah, we're not gonna do that just for confidentiality purposes, I guess. Just a respect thing, but I don't know. It's kind of frustrating being single for a while, and I hope I can get some insight from people in the comments on why women are so abusive mentally and emotionally. Um, it kind of, the culture these days now is about hookups and not finding somebody to marry. It's more so how many hookups you can do, and it's just disgusting. Um, Not much to put it to that, but sometimes I just wonder if, like, I don't know, I'm lost. And, I go to therapy once a week. I talk to two therapists a week. I talk to a doctor once a month. And it just seems like that it's helping me just be mentally stable and get some insight, but at the same time, it almost like isn't helping. Um, Even though it is, it just seems like I don't know. But you wonder, like these men that you see at university campuses that don't dress well, that don't present themselves well, um, aren't respectable, they're manipulative, they're what you call a simp, um, clingy, and controlling is um, very interesting that women are into that. Um, because I've been clingy to myself and a simp, and that never worked for me, but it does for the guy in college. It just the double standard doesn't add up to me, and that's where I get confused as what's going on. But now here's what I've came to conclude with relationships and finding a partner and why I can't. And the simple, short and simple answer is it's not me. Same for you, man. Um, it's not you. It's culture. Culture is so screwed up in 2025 that you have women that go for men that are extremely abusive and cheating and are liars. Um, there was a girl I dated in high school, which I find interesting. I bought her a bunch of stuff, including Coach sunglasses, and um, gave it to her for Valentine's Day. And we didn't end up hanging out that long on Valentine's Day. She got kind of weird. Um, she got quiet. She didn't want to do anything that night. And then the next day, she breaks up with me and says she's busy with school. And I'm just like, yeah, right, because I've had like 6, 7 different women tell me the same thing during my high school dating experiences. That the one thing about women I've realized is they're too afraid to tell the truth because they're worried they'll hurt your feelings. When in the end, lying to a man on why you break up with them is probably the worst thing to ever do. And I'll tell you why. Nobody likes a liar. um, Being lied to is probably the most deceitful thing. Um, it's very emotional, being lied to, especially from a loved one, um, that you thought you loved. Um, and the weird part is, in my relationships, I've never had a woman tell me she loves me. I've always been the first man to tell her I love her. And one mentioned, "How do you love me? We've only been dating a couple months, but isn't that what dating's about?" I don't know. It just makes you want to just scratch the top of your head and be like, this doesn't make sense. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel for the past 8 years, I've been feeling pretty lonely and depressed and hopeless and, you know, stuck. Um, and I'm trying to fix that by going out and socializing with classy women that are my type, blonde, blue eyed, European. Uh, Pretty much any European woman is my type. Um, and also, she has to be skinny. I can't deal with um, like every person has a type, and when I've told people for advice, like you're telling me to lower my standards, and I disagree with that. Never lower your standards in the first place, gentlemen, because you know what you're worth. You know what's in your league. Um, that's a that's a very invalid piece of advice I get from people. The other one I get is, why don't you just be friends with her? You know, have a girlfriend, but she isn't your girlfriend, but she's a girl that's a friend. I disagree with that. I don't believe that men can be friends with women because of the fact that there is a psychological thing between a man and a woman with emotional connections. Um, Because I'm sure you could relate with me that, you're friends with a girl who is extremely attractive and she friend zones you, and you're just like, well, she's dating men that are scrawny, skinny, um, is abusive. Um, and you're just like, really? Is this a joke? I don't know. Personally, that's how I feel on being friends with women. That would never work out for me because of the fact that um, like I'm more than that. It's called knowing your worth. Um, I don't play games. Um, I'm not gonna be there for a girl of a friend that's going through a hard time with dating a man who treats her like garbage and pretty much, um, how do I put it? Pretty much ask me for advice on how to fix their relationship when I can't even find one. You gotta be out of your damn mind. Excuse my French, but it's very it's like a big middle finger to you, pretty much. Um, and then when they are single, you're like, oh, well, that's my opportunity, right? Try again. Nope. She's got 1,000 men lined up on her Snapchat with probably a Snapchat score of 2 million plus. um, and yeah, I don't know. Pretty much. Like they always say, the nice guy finishes last, which I hate that analogy so much. It's almost it's almost like I don't know the word for it. Um, Kind of depressing. Um, I work with a doctor who hadn't been in a relationship since he was 40 years old, and then he finally got married, and I'm just like, he's a nice guy and is smart, and he looks above average, no homo. Um, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, these women are going for guys who don't even get haircuts or takes care of themselves, doesn't have nice things, or is just extremely disrespectful to women and objectifies them. Um, and that's what I can't understand. And I've read psychology books about the mind of a woman, and you know, their mentality is, oh, it's about being the bad male, perhaps I should call it, that turns them on. And it doesn't make sense because those qualities aren't what you want when you're getting married to somebody. You want a good, genuine person who's authentic and respectable and isn't manipulative and is a narcissist, sociopath. Um, yeah, I think that's just gonna wrap it up for just this first video. You'll kind of get to know me more. I guess what I should do is write down some topics I should talk about during the video. I kind of just freely talked about things without any kind of plan. So, um, like the video, comment. I'm not gonna ask for a subscription because, I don't care if I'm famous at all. Um, Prefer to just hear from you guys on kind of your experiences with dating and um, the struggles of being alone all the time is very depressing, hopeless to say the least. But I hope you enjoy this video, and you know, I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one.